from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
7:30 a.m. this November 5th. Good morning, I'm Phil Matier.
And I'm Melissa Kane.
And I'm Julie Watts. And how'd that extra hour feel this morning, guys?
It felt great until you went down to the kitchen and saw the clock say that it was an hour later. You forgot to set that one,
Yeah,
right?
my microwave gave me a little heart attack this morning. But yeah, it was great. New details on a shootout that left a San Francisco police officer in the hospital. Police have identified and charged the suspect. He's 32-year-old Cesar Valadez of Hayward. He's facing a slew of charges, including attempted murder, felony possession of a firearm, and driving a stolen vehicle. He and the officer both ended up in the hospital after exchanging gunfire early Wednesday morning in the Castro. Police say officers were checking out a report of a suspicious vehicle near 18th and Diamond when the gunfire erupted. Both men are still in the hospital this morning. The 41-year-old officer is listed in critical but stable condition. Police say Valadez is in worse shape. He has life-threatening injuries.
And in the North Bay, crews are racing to clean up all the hazardous waste from the wildfires before the rainy season really kicks into gear.
And FEMA is expecting to have some hard numbers by tomorrow on the number of wildfire victims who've applied for emergency housing. More than 5,000 homes were destroyed in Sonoma County in last month's firestorm. Now, FEMA is ready to bring in RVs and manufactured housing, and now many people are asking who's first in line for that help.
We don't categorize preference by class of individual or by age range or income. Those aren't factors that weigh into this process. It's literally a complete the documentation, and as units are available, you get placed kind of process.
Now, FEMA says they do not plan to put people in RVs long term. Those RVs are for people who have a recovery plan in place. And in terms of money for wildfire relief, Governor Jerry Brown is now asking for another $7 billion from the feds. Brown and all of California's members of Congress are seeking the money. This would be in addition to the $577 million Congress already approved for wildfire relief.
And this is the look from Skydrone 5 over Highway 1 in Marin County. We're looking at a 4-mile stretch between Muir Beach and Stinson Beach that's still being repaired nearly a year after last winter's washout. Caltrans hopes to have a single lane open by the end of the year. Meanwhile, crews are still trying to fix a portion of Highway 35 that virtually disappeared during last year's winter's heavy rains. The highway crumbled at Las Cumbres Road near Los Gatos, and this weekend's rain is putting the repairs schedule behind as well. And here's a look at the dramatic hole in the road that Caltrans says it wants the repairs done by mid-December. But the rain in the mountains has already forced crews to stop all work on Saturday, while the residents have had to reroute their commutes. Some say they don't mind waiting a little longer.
It adds a lot of time to our days, but, you know, whatever it takes to get it done right. We don't want it hurried. We definitely don't want it hurried.
The price for the repairs to that portion of Highway 35 is also steep. It's expected to cost nearly $28 million.
And Governor Jerry Brown is at the Vatican and said religion has a role to play in the fight against climate change. He made the comment during an environmental symposium yesterday. Now, Brown is, of course, a former Jesuit seminarian. He said that faith must join scientific and political approaches to limiting global environmental devastation.
We don't get a news flash to say we're about to tip over into some irreversible runaway in our climate system. But those are always risks, and that's why it's urgent that every state, every nation, every corporation, every center of power and responsibility do the maximum.
The governor is in Europe for 11 days of climate change talks. He's expected to attend a UN conference in Germany this week.
Meanwhile, President Trump is now in Japan. It's the first stop of a five-nation tour of Asia. He and the First Lady just wrapped up a dinner with the Japanese Prime Minister. Now, prior to the meal, the president made quick remarks to the press, exclaiming that Japan and U.S. relations have never been better. And yesterday, the president and the First Lady shook hands with U.S. service members at an air base near Tokyo. The message, he told troops, they must project American strength.
No dictator, no regime, and no nation should underestimate ever American resolve. Every once in a while in the past, they underestimated us. It was not pleasant for them, was it?
President Trump called Japan, quote, treasured partner and critical ally. He will also meet with leaders of South Korea and China over the next few days.
And good news for all you crab lovers. It's open season on Dungeness.
Nice, clean, sweet Dungeness crab. Here we got a little.
It was a good start for these fishermen in Bodega Bay yesterday. They hauled in the first catch of the sport fishing season. The commercial season is slated to open on November 15th, and public health officials say they'll be keeping a close eye on the crabs for dangerous levels of domoic acid, which delayed the start of the last 2 commercial seasons. So far this year, there are no warnings out there for Bay Area waters.
Hundreds gathered in Union Square in San Francisco yesterday, their aim to protest the Trump administration. After giving speeches near the Christmas tree, they marched toward 24th Street BART station. The demonstration was organized by the group Refuse Fascism, and it stayed peaceful. It comes just days before the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's election victory. A similar protest took place in more than 20 cities across the country.
Republicans have officially unveiled their tax overhaul bill, saying the middle class will see the biggest benefits. But Democrats dispute that claim. Now, the plan so far would decrease the number of individual tax brackets from 7 to 4. The top rate would remain 39.6%, but it would only apply to households making $1 million or more. Households that make $60,000 a year, that's the median household income, would see its rate drop from 15 to 12%. The standard deduction for individuals would double to $12,000 and $24,000 for married couples. But the personal exemption would be eliminated, and that would be just worth over $4,000 for the taxpayers and their dependents for 2018.
Tax cuts, if we get this through, and I think we will, you're going to see this economy take off like a rocket ship.
The plan also gets rid of a deduction for state and local income taxes. Democrats insist that will hurt people in states with high income taxes, like California. Now, the tax reform proposal looks like good news for Bay Area tech giants, though. For one thing, the corporate tax rate would drop from 35% to 20%, and there would be a one-time tax of 12% on cash held overseas. Now, this is supposed to be an incentive for companies to bring back the money they've been stashing abroad. Now, in a statement, Governor Jerry Brown said that the plan is damaging for California, adding, quote, this is bad economic policy and bad for the American people.
And in a strange twist, the Warriors star Steph Curry is being dragged into the tax debate as well. Curry's named in a GOP document that tries to explain how the tax plan would not create new tax loopholes. Part of it reads, the law would distinguish between, quote, the individual wage income of NBA All-Star Steph Curry and the pass-through business income to Steph's bike shop. The Golden State point guard responded with his tweet, I wonder if Steve's bike shop is hiring.
I'll be at Levi's Stadium in just a little bit, but I can't go down there without giving you the best sports minute I can. Here we go. Kevin Durant last night in the heart of Denver. Warriors, boy, that rock star show hit the Nuggets last night. Even Zaza Pachulia got into the mix. Steal and, well, why not finish it? Warriors laid the smackdown with a 24-4 run in the third. They scored 43 points in the quarter. 5 dubs in double figures. Steph Curry, yes, had 22, 127-108. Perfect. 3-0 road trip. Frigid David Shaw and Stanford yesterday at Washington State. Snowy afternoon. This one went back and forth until late in the game. David Falk to Jameer Calvin. One of his 3 touchdown passes. Number 25 Washington State won it 24-21. In Berkeley yesterday, Cal running back Patrick Laird had himself a day. 214 yards and a touchdown in the Bears' 37-23 win over Oregon State. Cal now 5-5. And the Sharks in overtime. Julius Dunskoy. Scott. The Sharkies in the mix with Anaheim. And, boy, they pulled one off. A 2-1 thriller in overtime. Some of you, again, I will see later on at Levi's Stadium as the 49ers have a real solid chance to get that first win of the season against Arizona. The rest of you, well, most of the rest of you, will be watching the Raiders in South Florida trying to get it done at the Dolphins. We'll see you later.